Alrighty, Matt, so I'm going to show you Stellaris, because I think you'd quite like it. So, first thing you do, you hit new game, right, and all these empires with these icons here are, like, self-made, so you'll be looking at a bunch of empires, it'll be cool, right? So, this is what the species looks like, this is the species itself, these are the traits the species has evolved over time. These are, some things that these are the civics of the species civilization, this is how the government is run. And this is, the governing ethics or ideals of the government, right? America's like, oh, freedom for all. Well, some places are like, we love armies. Other places are, we love research and nice things. So, I could, there's a couple pre-made empires. I think the UN, some offshoot of the UN that went wrong. Or, well, not really wrong. That went differently. Actually, I think in the lore behind this pre-made one, there was like an accident. But these people are really militaristic now. So these are a couple, these ones down here are a couple, for example, these machine intelligences and these machine intelligences and hive minds are from a DLC because I was really interested in that, right? For example, we have Skynet, oh shoot, whoops. We have machines that love to preserve and watch over humans, like loving, like a pet owner loves their goldfish. I.e. Skynet loves us and wants to keep us safe and comfortable. We have this one here. Think the Borg, right? The goal is to assimilate other organic populations into their own empire through cybernetic implanting and conquer, take the planet, then turn them into cyborgs. Take the planet, make them happy, purge the organics. I think this one is, there's two species. One of them's strong and dumb and obedient. The other one's smart and rather normal. So, let's just create a new empire just for kicks, right? So here, you got plenty of options here, right, for the appearance of the empire. Various different species. This is just all cosmetic. This one looks like a dick. But let's make space elves just for kicks. Space elves. Space elves. Elves. Sure, sounds great. Naming, right? This is how they name their leaders, their planets, the fleets, the ships. Again, you have a lot of different options here. Lots of options for creation. Let's go humanoid. Which one is that? Is that humanoid 1 or humans? Oh, whoops. Okay, well, that one's great. Traits, right? So this is the species biological trait, right? Does it reproduce really fast or does it reproduce slowly, right? So you can pick 5 traits, you have 2 points, right? So this one gives you 2 more points, right? -2, costs -2 points. So you pick it, you get 2 more points to spend, right? So that's why some species have these bad traits, because it gives them more options for a whole bunch of good traits. Alright, so let's just, what's a good start? Thrifty, more energy, industrious. So that's a great start. Okay, so we've got 3 more picks. We're down 2 points. Let's pick sedentary. Sure, there we go. So we're even. And we haven't gone over our picks. We'll hit next, right? We have a species. So this is the kind of world and climate preference you have. So for example, if you are from any of the frozen worlds, then that means like your habitability will be roughly 70% for the other frozen worlds, and it'll be I think like 80 or 90% for the world you came from. Whereas the others will be, I think, around 20 or 30%. And habitability affects resource output and production on that planet. Just give it a random name. We can have a trinary system, or a binary system, the Sol system if we want. Yeah, so Sol system and Deneb are pre-made. We can have a random system. I usually go with random or a random trinary because 3 stars is cool, right? Space elves are from a cold place. So what do we want our city buildings to look like, right? You can see it back here. As I click through them, I think the reptilian city and the mammalian cities look coolest. Alright, so now we're getting into our empire building stuff, right? So what kind of ethics is our government, right? So we have 3 points. These orange ones are the fanatic versions of the blue ones. This middle one here is, from a DLC, so I'm not going to touch that or get into that, but that's basically hive minds or a machine intelligence, right? One AI controls everything, or it's a hive mind of sorts, right? think, like a bee colony, except the bees are intelligent enough to develop space flight or whatever. Or an ant colony. Or, a bird flock, right? Because it's a hive mind, or, yeah. But, I'm not going to touch this. So each of these civics has bonuses, right? You can see Materialist, allows you to set the living standards for a species as academic privilege. You're not allowed to outlaw AI, and you're not allowed to outlaw robotic workers. But, as a modifier, as a bonus to your empire, you get 5% faster research, and robot upkeep is reduced by 10%. And if you double down on it, you effectively double the bonuses you get, right? So some of these are also opposites, right? So you can see militarist is opposite from pacifist, as in they are mutually exclusive. You cannot have them both, right? Materialism, right, is more, like, ooh, science, right? I don't know why they didn't go science focused, but you can't be materialistic and spiritualist. You can't be egalitarian and authoritarian. You can't be a xenophobe and a xenophile. So just for the sake of, and these are your civics. These are, nice things that occur as a result of how your government runs. Here, let's see. What's a good option? What's a good agrarian idol? Let's go pacifist, and this is usually a good option. Inward perfection and agrarian ideal. This kind of civilization enjoys a very fast cultural development. I prefer an oligarchy myself. I don't really like imperial or dictatorial rulings. I prefer an oligarchy myself. Let's just go original.
Did you know that my internal power
democracy sure
The Blorg are we build brain.
Okay.
So we're gonna go original just because that's what you get out of the box. All these other voice advisor packs are, it came with one of the DLCs I have. I only got, I think, 2 or 3 of them. Empire name. Protective Space Elves Compact. What was kind of government ethics authority? So depending on what I pick here and what I pick here and what I pick here, depends on the name and government style, right? So in this case, it's a nice, pleasant bureaucracy where bureaucracy is meant to maintain the safety and happiness of the people. All right, so we have our advisor voice. That's neat. I have our generic name. Space Elf Utopia. I'm really kind of confused how we have, an agrarian society in an Arctic tundra, because, simple and peaceful life can often be most rewarding. Managed to avoid this agrarian society has managed to avoid large-scale urbanization. So there's a lot of farms and villages, farms on a, let's go to the homeworld, farms on an Arctic planet. Okay, well, whatever, right? Different life, different planet, different set of rules. So we can even pick our empire's flag, right? If you'd like to look up here, you can see it changing as I pick different things. There are a heck of a lot of options here. Lots of different tabs. You know what? That one looks great. Let's go with this one, and primary color, secondary color. So pick the background. It's really cool. Neat. There we go. Sounds great. We can even pick the appearance of our ships. Let's go for the, you know what, Space Elves are going to do something weird. Let's go for the Anthropoid ships. We can even pick the appearance of our first ruler, the gender of our first ruler. Right, set a ruler title, coordinator sounds great. We can pick the name of our first ruler. Yes, I can, there we go. You can pick the clothing. Not all species have a clothing option available. I think a lot of the mammalian species that are covered in fur don't necessarily wear clothing. What's something the Space Elves would wear? There we go. You can even pick the room that we are in. Let's see, Space Elves. There we go, perfect. Perfect. There we go. There we go. I'll hit done, because we want to play as this empire. Let's just play it on a medium-sized galaxy. Medium-sized spiral galaxy, randomized amount of AI empires, randomized amount of AI that have in a more advanced sort than we do. Fallen empires, those are, kind of like old civilizations that have just been largely stagnant. Let's randomize that. Tech tradition cost worlds. Let's just play a pretty default game. I like to play a long game myself. Difficulty normal mode, right? Ensign, the AI has no inherent advantages over the player, so it's just, normal mode. They're playing against AI that are on the same footing as me. Iron Man mode, no thanks. Alright, so it's going to start, so we're going to load up a game here. Alright, so this is, our ethics, our civics, the traits of our species. We have, it's our climate preference. So as we can see, the Arctic and Tundra worlds, right? We have Arctic, Tundra, and Alpine worlds. We have, a high habitability in them because they are from the frozen hydrosphere, from their cold climates, right? Our species is from a Arctic world, and the other two planets that are cold, we have a high amount of habitability. But all the other worlds, the really wet ones and the really dry ones, we do not fare so well in, as in we have a 20% habitability. A low habitability will affect species happiness and thus make piracy more likely, civil unrest and civil disobedience more likely to happen, as well as hamper resource production, because unhappy workers are not very productive workers. So this is our homeworld here. We can go to the surface. We have our governor. He is a level 1 governor. He has 0 experience because we have just started. It's the first day of the year 2200. We're going to unpause, and we see here the speed is normal. So normal speed means there's roughly about 1 day in-game occurring per second of real time. There's 30 days per month, and thus it is 360 seconds per year, or 6 minutes in a year. You saw on the previous screen that I like to have the mid-game start at 2600. Well, if you put it into perspective that way, that is 600 minutes in 100 years. 6 minutes per year times 100 years, that's 10 hours for 100 years to pass, which is why I like to usually turn up the speed to fastest. Now time's going by a lot quicker. This is how I play a game, usually. So, we can change our governor, and this opens up our leaders tab. In this case, we're looking for governors. We can recruit a governor if we want, who has a different trait. Or a different specialty. And we can see the cost of recruiting the governor. That goes for scientists, that goes for admirals, that goes for generals, that goes for all the leaders we could possibly want. Our empire can only have so many leaders in it, but we'll get back into that later. In the meantime, we're still looking at our planet. So this is the surface of our planet. They are looking to change this soon, but I'm going to tell you about it anyways. So this is the population. It is called a pop, or a population. You can move your populations from one tile to another, but you can only have one population per tile. You can also construct a building on a tile. For example, this tile has a base output of 3 minerals. If we were to put a power plant on that tile, it will suppress the 3 mineral collection on that tile. So we'd want to put mineral buildings on mineral tiles, power buildings on power tiles, research buildings on research tiles, and I don't think there's any tiles that actually generate Unity, so you want to usually put your Unity buildings on blank tiles, or resources that you are not in a shortage of. You can see these tiles are we can't put our populations on them. They have tile blockers. Blockers need to be cleared. So think you settle a colony and it's got some really, really tall mountain ranges that are really just, you can't build anything in those mountain ranges. You need to clear the mountain range, or there's some dense jungle or some really, really nasty swamp that you'd have to fix before you turn it into usable land. And that has a cost, and that takes time. So, whenever you see this little clock icon and a number, that's, 100 in-game days. Back up to the top right here, 100 in-game days. So, we have 3 icons up here. We'll get to that soon. We have our resources up here. So this is energy credits. You can think of that as power, or you can think of that as money, because it is a currency backed by energy, and it is used by every spacefaring empire out there. So you can either think of it as, $1 is worth all the electricity that comes out of a AA battery, or you can think of it as, raw energy output. You're generating plus 12 per month. And we can see a better breakdown of that if we hold our mouse over it. Minerals, think of that as building material. You need minerals to construct ships, to build buildings, to build robots, all sorts of things. Spaceships and robots and population all also have a mineral upkeep. For example, this population, right, it is weak and sedentary. Material goods. So So, this population consumes 1 unit of consumer goods every month. So, the population consumes consumer goods. That requires minerals. Robots have a mineral upkeep as well, to maintain them and keep them going, part replacements, and same thing with spaceships. Repairs, refitting, rearming, and just general maintenance of a ship. This is food. It is only consumed by populations. 1 unit of food, every population consumes 1 unit of food per month. And thus populations require food to function. So this is influence. Think of it as your government's clout, its ability to get things done. So if you want to expand space, you need influence. If you want to lay claim to your neighbor's star systems and say, hey, that's rightfully ours, you need influence. If you want your government to put some sort of new law or policy into effect, you need influence for that. And influence is a very slow thing. It kind of, you make sure that everyone develops and expands along the same speed, so that makes your choices in expansion, i.e. where I'm going to expand to, more important. This is unity. Think of it as, how your government culturally advances, right? You use unity to unlock these tradition trees here. And when you you use unity to buy a tradition tree and then use it to unlock each individual node on a tradition tree. You can see that each tradition tree has a different shape. For example, you need dietary enrichment before you can get survival of the fittest or environmental diversification, and you need to unlock that adaptability tree before you can buy either of these first two options. Once you complete a tree, you unlock an ascension perk. And this is this is how your culture, this is how your species really, furthers itself as a advanced civilization, right? This lets you master nature. This lets you, say, develop cybernetics, or say become psionic, or, build massive wonders and megastructures like a Dyson sphere or ring worlds. You need these ascension perks. You need to culturally advance to such a point where your species is ready for that. Over here we have our research work, which we're going to get to really soon. We have our research points, right? So this is how much research we generate in a month for the 3 fields of research. Over here, this is our darkly controlled colonized systems. This makes up our core sector. Our core sector is, we can micromanage these planets as we please, whereas any other sectors micromanaged by an AI and taxed by our empire. This is our naval capacity, how many ships your empire can support. Going over your naval capacity incurs an increased percentage modifier to the ship upkeep for all ships in your empire. So if you go over this, suddenly it becomes really expensive to maintain your navy. Same thing for starbase capacity. So starbases, if we go back to our home system, all right, every planet has a little outpost on it, but we can upgrade those to a starbase, and with an upgraded starbase, we can build modules in it and build buildings in it, right? So for example, the current modules we have unlocked through research are displayed here, right? We have an empty module slot. We can put more modules in. As we unlock larger starbases, we'll unlock more module slots if we upgrade them. Upgrading a starbase to, say, a starhold or to, say, a space fortress or a citadel does not increase this. It is merely having a starbase or it being a basic outpost. So unlocking all these slots will not increase how many starbases we have. Then buildings, they all have their prerequisites. For example, you can't have a crew quarters without a shipyard. And you can change those at any time you like. So that's the very basic. So we're going to get into the research now. The way research works is you have options. You're given 3 options or more, depending if you've unlocked the ability to have more options. You're given 3 options, and all 3 options are technologies that you have met the prerequisites to begin researching, right? You can't start researching a tier 5 laser weapon until you have tier 4 lasers. For example, this is, tier 2 lasers. For example, we have the ability to construct a research lab, so thus we are able to begin researching specialized laboratories. And I don't know what the prerequisite for this one is, but everyone can start research it right off the get-go if they, pull it up early, right? So we have 3 fields of research: physics, society, and engineering. And those are all being researched simultaneously, or in parallel to one another. So we can begin researching the blue laser. This is how long it will take at our current research generation, right? It costs 750 physics research points. We're generating 6 research points per month. This is again, scientists are considered a type of leader. So if we were to click on our scientist, we could replace him with a different scientist, or we could recruit a new scientist. Some scientists have traits, for example, an expertise in this or that. Others just have basic traits that are open to all leaders. And each type of research, each research option, if we click this, we can go back, right? See, we can see we can see lasers are a particle research. We can see quantum theory is a type of computing research. So, for example, if we go back to recruit, we can see that our physicists, we have scientists available, right? This guy's got an expertise in material, so any material type research we will have a 15% bonus to. Whereas this guy will have a bonus to any computing type research. And here we have, a computing type research, for example. But this guy merely gains experience and levels up faster. As your leaders level up, they will provide bonuses to what they are doing. As your leaders level up, they will provide bonuses to what they're leading. So admirals will give your fleets a bonus. Will give bonuses to the fleet that they are commanding. Researchers will give bonuses to the science ship they are commanding or to the research they're conducting. Governors will give bonuses to the planets they run, and generals will give bonuses to the armies that they lead. That looks helpful, and we'll just pick another engineering research. And that looks helpful. So, what else is there? Shipyards. So we have 3 types of ship in this game. We have several types of ships in this game. So if we go back to our planet surface, we also have the armies tab. So on planets is where you recruit your armies and use armies to conquer planets. So for example, this planet has a garrison strength of 88. You need to defeat in order to conquer a planet. The garrison there has to be completely defeated by invading armies. You build your invading armies on your planets, and you can send them to other planets. And that's how you conquer planets. That's neat, right? So we can recruit armies. We can click this to recruit it. It's going to take 90 days to recruit an army, and it's going to cost 100 minerals. Our spaceport is on the... Okay, so the planet's spaceport is where you can build civilian ships. For example, a construction ship to build things in space, a science ship to survey the stars, and a colony ship to colonize new worlds. So we start with a construction ship, a science ship, and a leader to command the science ship, and a small fleet of 3 basic ships with, it's very basic equipment, right? Fission reactor, right? That's Chernobyl right there. Hyperdrive, chemical thrusters, a radar, and a basic combat computer. Basic tier 1 armaments and basic tier 1 utilities, such as shields and armor. You can see the stats of the ship. It outputs roughly 6.71 damage per day, and that's based on an average of the weapon's accuracy, the weapon's damage output, and the weapon's rate of fire. Different weapon types have different damage profiles. For example, lasers are more effective against armor, and they are easily blocked by shields, and kinetic weapons, such as these mass drivers, are very effective against shields, but not so much against armor. Neat stuff, eh? Cool. So we're going to go back to the galaxy map, and we are going to send our science ship, and we're going to survey a system. Then we're going to unpause the game. The hotkey for that is spacebar, so if you see this going from pause on pause, it's because I'm pressing the spacebar, and you can see a little thing down here that mentions when it's paused. So if we click back here, we can see the science ship is heading to the edge of the system. It has to go to the edge of the system away from the star's gravity well in order to safely enter hyperdrive or whatever. So we can click this button to go right to the ship. And we can zoom in here, we can see it's entering, charging up, and there it goes. So, wow, we can see there's a lot of stuff going on in this system. So it has to survey each and every planet as well as the star, and we can only lay claim to already surveyed systems. So in the meantime, I'm going to pause the game because, days are occurring where I'm not doing anything, versus I could pause the game and have the time stop and queue up some orders. So, there are resources that you can get in space. Shocker. For example, this world here, we can build a mining station around it and claim these 3 minerals per month. So let's select our construction ship from the side here. We can double click it to go right to it. Real neato. Okay, that star's kind of a little painfully bright. Where'd that planet go? There it is. So we can select our ship. We can build a mining station, then click on it. What I tend to do is, let's pick that ship, is just have my ship selected and then right click it and then click build mining station. So it's going to cost 90 minerals from up here, but it's going to increase our mineral collection by 3 per month. You can see it's building the mining station right now. We can see the percentage at which it's complete. We can see a little progress bar here in the side here. So that lets us know, which ships are doing nothing. For example, this one's just orbiting a star. It's not doing anything right now, but that's our military fleet. So there's, nothing for the military fleet to do right now, which is good.
Construction complete.
Nobody's, causing us grief. And the game will give us the notification when something is complete. And that's usually when, I play fastest. I pause the game. I go look at what happened, and I queue up more orders. So for example, this planet, we can generate a mining station that'll collect energy. Now, the thing about mining stations is... There's our mining station. Is they have an upkeep cost. So if we show the details here... No, it doesn't show. No, if we mouse over it, we can see the upkeep cost down there, 1 energy per month. And that's for mining stations that are not gathering energy. Any station that gathers energy does not have an upkeep cost at all. You can also build research stations. That will gain us 2 engineering research per month. If we go into our research tab, we can see here how many months remaining it is at the current rate. In the meantime, let's go look at what our science ship is doing. Our science ship is nearly there. There's only a few systems out. I'll get to that in a moment. So we can watch our construction ship finish up here, and then we'll see our research progress. Suddenly, it'll take a lot less time to finish researching an engineering facility.
Anomaly found.
So one of the things science ships can also do is discover strange things in space, anomalies. These anomalies require time to investigate, and they can net you all sorts of interesting rewards and outcomes. Based on the skill of the scientist, leading the commanding the science ship will affect the research time. So in this case, our scientist is 2 levels lower than the anomaly level, and it's going to take a lot of extra time to do that. So we can just leave that be for now. We can assign a different scientist aboard a different science ship, or we can just tell scientists, all right, get at it. So I'm going to leave it be for now, because that's going to take more time than it needs to. Meantime, our construction ship is nearly finished the research station. And see, our science ship is currently surveying. Almost there. So watch this go from 34 or whatever down to 28, right? That's obviously not a difference that happens in 1 month from 34 months to 28 months. That's because suddenly we're generating a lot. Suddenly, we're generating another 3 points of engineering research. We went from 8 points to 11, right? So naturally it's going to take a lot less time to make it to 500. So this thing that happened up here, we have enough unity to adopt a new tradition. So we can now pick one of these tradition trees and start working towards it. So expansion helps us grow large and colonize many stars. It helps mitigate the downsides of having a lot to manage. Purity. So purity is only available to empires that have inwards perfection. This one is usually domination, which allows us to, demand tribute or subjugate other empires without actually conquering them. I.e., pay tribute to us, or you were going to lend us a part of your navy, otherwise we're going to come in and rough up your stuff. Prosperity is, if you want to build your economy and reduce the upkeep of your shipyards and spaceborne buildings, as well as get the most energy you can. Harmony tends to be a happier, more unified people. Discovery, if you want to advance technologically, I'd recommend the Discovery Tree. Adaptability, again, this is only for those with the inward perfection civic, like this empire I have building right now. I'm showing you right now. This is usually diplomacy, but adaptability, survive and surpass. So inward perfection is basically we're going to work on ourselves. We don't, it's a rather isolationist kind of view. We want to make ourselves great. We don't really care about what the others are doing. And then supremacy is a military focus, right? Build ships faster, fleet command increase, shoot faster, build defense platforms cheaper and easier and better. Armies are better, right? So that's, a very military-based empire would want supremacy. So usually I go for discovery just because, and each tree has effects for when you first adopt it and for when you complete the tree. So we're going to adopt Discovery because it gives us a bonus to anomaly discovery chance, and as you survey stars, you will discover anomalies, and anomalies are usually do good things for you. So we're going to go with this. It'll cost us 100 Unity. The next tradition is going to cost us 130 Unity. We're generating 6 per month, so at this rate it's going to be another 18 months before we can either adopt a new tree or work our way a bit further down the discovery tree. Let's let time elapse. So we can see our science ship has a few more things, 4 more things to survey in this system, and then we can build an outpost, right? We can't build a outpost to lay claim to the system because it's not fully surveyed. And once we have an outpost in the system, that puts the system within our borders. That expands our borders to that system. So we can't build any mining or research stations or harvest any resources or colonize any planets until we have an outpost there. But in the meantime, we're going to move our construction ship into that system so that, you know, as soon as we finish surveying it, we can start building. So Stellaris graphically runs everything on a 2D flat plane because I guess that's just how they do. So when you hit move to a system, it's going to automatically put the ships in orbit of the star, unless you pick somewhere specific for the ship to go. That can be useful in a naval engagement if you want to, say, position your navy strategically, you know, behind a starbase so that the enemy has to engage both your navy and the starbase. Again, that's a trick I often use because all outposts and all starbases...
System survey complete.
Oh good, the survey is complete. So now, what I usually do is I usually do this from the galactic map myself. We can click our construction ship. We can select our science ship, but I'm going to click my construction ship, right-click the star system. I'm going to build a starbase, or build an outpost. It's going to cost 100 minerals and 60 influence. Influence growth is slow, but that can be modified by, you know, by interacting with certain political factions within your empire. So in the meantime, we're going to survey another system. So you can see I selected my science ship. We're going to survey another system by right-clicking and going survey. And we can see our construction ship is currently building a starbase. So, on to military things. As we can see here, military fleet classes 1, we have a military power of 107. So that's an output of how effective and how much of a threat that collection of ships, or that individual ship, in the case of one ship, poses. Usually, you know, there are exceptions. Usually, the fleet with a larger military power will win against a fleet or starbase with a lower military power. So you can see currently our shipyard, currently our only starbase, has a greater military power than our navy. That's likely due to the fact that it has 10,000 hull points and a shit ton of armor and shields compared to our individual ships. Speaking of which, we can look at our ships, we can click ship details, and we can see our ships they aren't very big, they aren't very tough. They don't output a lot of damage, whereas our starbase, if we hit details, outputs more damage per day, and has a lot more hit points than our ships. Again, tier 1 missiles, tier 1 mass drivers, tier 1 equipment, but it has more equipment. So this is our... Yeah, alright, so back up to the top here. We let the game go in the background. This is contact, so these are other empires that we have made contact with. We can usually click them from this list and start and initiate contact with them, so that could be, you know, for diplomacy or trade. This is our situation log. Any interesting events, any anomalies we are aware of, and the victory conditions. Domination, own 40% of all the habitable planets, conquest, conquer, subjugate all the other empires. We're just going to drag this over here for now. Federation, have the Federation you're in own 60% of the habitable planets. So this is an event we have stumbled across. That's probably going to be in our situation log once I click this. Oh, we've recovered artifacts from an ancient alien civilization. Interesting. They call themselves the First League. Neat. Oh, begins the First League event chain.
Situation log updated.
Yes, so that's in our situation log here. In order to complete this, we have to collect 6 First League artifacts, and those we'll just kind of stumble upon randomly as we explore. Okay, neat. Interesting. So, situation log, we've... Alright, let's pause the game, because things are popping up. Oh, hey, our scientist commanding our science ship here has gained a level. As you can see, he now researches faster and surveys stars faster than, say, our level 1 scientists. Level 1, 2% and 10%. Level 2, 4% and 20%. So these bonuses scale linearly. As in, you know, it's not like level 4 is suddenly 8% and 40%, no. Or it's not like level 3 is 8% and 40%, no, level 3 is 6% and 30%. Alright, that's neat, we'll just hit OK. And we have enough unity for another tradition. Yes, to boldly go. Survey speed increase and science ship disengage chance. So science ships will automatically, if they are threatened, attempt to just warp out. So this, you know, makes it easier for science ships to successfully do that, and allows our science ships to survey systems faster. You gain a level. We've already looked at this. We can right-click these to make these go away, which I tend to do. So situation log, technology, I've shown you this. More. So planets and sectors. This is where we can just go to our planets and sectors. We can easily look at the important stats of our planets and sectors. Policies and edicts, right? This is where we decide some of the laws of our empires, our war philosophy. We are a pacifist nation, so these are not of options for us. For example, we can see the conditions at the very bottom of these little pop-up windows with X's and check marks there. Close that, right? Food stockpiling, this affects, you know, our food storage, right? We are currently at maximum storage and we are producing more food, so that's not doing anything. So we can hit balanced, and suddenly, you know, this can go up to 1,000. It's not till we are at maximum food capacity and still producing more food that food production gives a bonus to population growth speed. Orbital bombardment. Well, we can't pick indiscriminate because we are pacifist. Selective is our only available option. You can only change these once every, I believe, 10 years? 2202, 1212. Can't change this in 2212, 12. Yeah, we can only change these once every 10 years, so our choices will matter for a short while. Alright, we can forcibly take one populations and send them to another one of our planets, or we can decide to not do that. First contact, are we peaceful or are we aggressive? Do we have the option to shoot vessels that we have not established contact with their empire, or will we not do that? Or will that option be unavailable to us? Initial border status, are our borders initially open or closed to empires we make contact with? Core world population, right? So the core sector of our civilization, the planets we can micromanage and min-max the heck out of, are those available to citizens, all species, or citizens and slave species only? Refugees, do we take refugees from any species, our main citizen species, or just we don't take refugees? What's our policy on that? Slavery, is it allowed or not? Well, that depends. Purging type, are we going to say we can potentially, you know, exterminate populations we don't want, or are we only going to say find a home somewhere else, i.e., you know, turn them into refugees? Or is it completely prohibited? These are our edicts. They last for 10 years, so it's a cost for a 10-year bonus. Oh, 12 years, right? Because we have I think we have a specific empire type that gives us a bonus to our edict duration. That's policies, factions. These are political factions. So for example, these are, you know, say political parties. A political party that is happy will help your government and generate additional influence. And as well as a population's base happiness is based off of their faction's happiness. So pops will join factions, they'll align themselves politically. And what else? So pops will join, so you know, having a happy political faction will generate more influence, and the pops that are members of that faction will have a higher happiness and thus produce more resources. So, influence, you can promote a faction to make those the ethics that the faction stands for more attractive and potentially shift the governing ethics of your civilization if you want. Or you could suppress a faction because you don't want to shift, but suppressing them will reduce your influence gain per month because it takes effort. That's factions for you. Strategic resources, these are special materials you find. Having access to one unit of that resource will give you a bonus. Having access to additional units of that resources will not give you any bonus, but you can trade access to that resource to other empires in exchange for goods and services. You cannot trade away your last unit of a resource, i.e. you will never not have that bonus once you have it. Unless, of course, the system that the strategic resource is located in is taken from you forcefully, or you trade away that system in exchange for something else. I.e. you no longer control the system that resource comes from, you no longer control that resource. Species, these are the species in your empire. You can toggle this to show all the species in the galaxy that we have discovered. You can sort by population, you can sort by the type, by the name, by which rights they have. Let's go back to empire species. And as we unlock new technologies, we will be able to create new templates. These are genetic templates for the species. As in, we can genetically modify these species to be this breed of space elf, or that breed of space elf. Right? Do we want space night elves, or space wood elves, or something like that, for example? We can eventually remove these negative traits. We add more positive traits, change the climate preference, so we could specifically genetically engineer several of our species to live on a dry planet, like the arid planet or the savanna world at the bottom of this habitability list, for example. We can set the rights for a specific species or a specific subspecies, i.e. a specific template, right? Alright, so we can set the living conditions and what kind of citizenship they have. There are specific criteria for being able to set these kind of citizenship statuses. For example, an egalitarian society can't have slaves because that's against what that society stands for. But an authoritarian society can definitely have a caste system because that's the kind of thing they stand for. Living standards, right? We are not materialistic, so we cannot set academic privilege as a living standard for a species. For example, living standards can affect a species' happiness, right? And it affects consumer good use. We do not need to budget for the dead. So, usually I'll go something with social welfare because a happier species is more productive. Military service, right? Are they allowed to colonize? Are they allowed to migrate on their own? Oh, population. Are they allowed to reproduce, and is this population allowed to grow? Migration. Are they allowed to migrate freely with it to other planets within the Empire? What kind of slavery type are they? What kind of purge type are they? Well, we can't purge them because the species is not selected to, say, undesirable. We cannot, make them slaves because they're not set to the slaves or the caste system. Those are species, right? Leaders, right? We can recruit leaders of all types here. We can manage all our leaders from this tab, right? We can dismiss leaders. And we don't want to because then we have nobody leading our engineering research. Right? We can recruit governors who manage our sectors or planet. Yeah, so governors manage an entire sector. So all of the planets in our core system, so our first 7 planets will be the core system, and then the next ones after that, well, they'll either be in the core system, but, at a slight penalty to production, or we'll have to create a new sector for those planets. Admirals, right? So if we go into our military fleets, we can assign an admiral to this fleet. And they have various traits. And they have, they can level up and gain better skills. And generals are for our armies, right? Army details, we can assign a general, and that general will give a bonus to all the defense armies, or we can assign a general to a group of assault armies, and that general will give, and if that all those assault armies will automatically embark on transport ships, and that's how you move them from, your space to the planets you want to conquer. And the general assigned to one of the armies in that fleet of transport ships will benefit all the armies. Leaders' traditions, right? We've already looked at this. Expansion planner, this is just a helpful thing for viewing which planets are nearby us, which planets are within our borders, the name, how many tiles are on that planet, how far away that planet is, which resources are present on that planet's surface, i.e. down here. Let's go back to the expansion planner. If there's any planet-specific strategic resources, any modifiers which affect living conditions on the planet, i.e. high gravity, low gravity, and atmospheric aphrodisiac, sounds like it grows afros. You know, does it have a really active magnetosphere? Status, right, of that planet? I'm not sure what that actually means. Or, well, you know, are we currently terraforming it or not? Which is, again, a technology we need to unlock. Ship designer, right? We can design any kind of ship we have research, right? So we could pick a missile boat segment for our corvettes, right? Because corvettes are the basic ship, one segment. Destroyers have 2 segments. Cruisers and battleships have 3 segments. And what kind of weapon do we want to put in here? Or do we want an interceptor with three weapons? Or do we want a missile boat with room for one guided component, i.e. missiles of sorts, and one small weapon, right? And there's a little S up there. One small weapon, one guided weapon, or 3 small weapons. Both these sections have 3 small utilities and 1 auxiliary slot, right? So let's put our only available missile option. Let's put a laser in there, because lasers are good against armor. Okay, maybe we want a mass driver to get rid of those shields and start chipping away at the armor sooner. Auxiliary component, a reactor booster, right? This is, you know, extra things. Do we want to put in some extra afterburners, or do we want to put in a shield booster? As it currently stands, we can see our ship stats over here on the right. Special values, okay. Damage per day, how fast it moves, you know. That is how fast it moves from, say, you know, that's how fast it moves from here to over here, right? That's speed there. Let's build a mining station over there, by the way. Go back to our ship designer. We still have the ship up. Any components, right? Got some pretty basic components here because these are we haven't researched anything yet. So, currently, right, our power, right? We have enough power for this equipment, right? Power usage 10. Coil got mass driver, power usage 5, right? We are producing 75 power. We got extra power. Great. Let's put in some deflectors. We can see we only have 15 power now because power usage of 15. So we got enough power for 1 more set of deflectors, basic shields and basic armor. So right, so now we see we have armor and shields. If we remove all these, no armor, no shields, right? So there are various modules and components you can unlock that will add other values for, say, you know, extra evasion, extra speed, extra shields, extra armor, extra hull points even. Can name it. Missile shell, because it looks like a crowd. You know, you can name it whatever you want. Give it a random name. And set the auto upgrade, so whenever one of these components we research a high version of it, it will automatically upgrade the ships when the design will automatically be updated to reflect that. Cannot save because we have autocomplete on, or auto generate designs. We can now save this, right? Let's just delete this though, just cause I usually leave auto generate on because it tries to create the best ships possible with the existing technologies that we have unlocked. Oh hey, we can upgrade this. Oops, oh well. Alright, so let's let the game go again.
Ships upgraded.
Neat. Ships upgraded. Let's see what they are now. Oh god, there's no guns. What kind of upgrade? Okay, never mind. Fleet upgraded. Shipyard construction queue is complete because, well, upgrading the fleet was the construction queue. So that is most of Stellaris. Let's close that. Alright. Building a mining station.
Construction complete.
Build a research station because we want faster research. Oh right, I was going to show you population growth. So you can see this one here, this population is growing. It is kind of faded compared to these fully grown populations. Oh hey, let's survey some habitable worlds because we want to look at new species. That sounds like a great initiative.
Updated.
Alright, so you can see the happiness of this species is now 65% because we put them on the social welfare program as opposed to just basic living standards, as in, you know, they get some extra nice stuff. So now species is now happy. This population is now a bit happier. So the mineral production here, right?
Construction
From the
complete.
happiness of the population working it, we gain a 2.5% bonus to production. And that's nice. As this population gets happier through the happiness of its faction, if it joins a faction, this value, that happiness bonus to productivity could potentially go up further. So population growth, we can see. Alright, we completed our engineering research. Let's pause the game here because we don't want too many months to pass without researching anything. Exoskeletons, more minerals, and our armies do more damage. Sounds great. Oh, we have researched the engineering lab. We can upgrade this building now from a basic science lab to an engineering
Anomaly
facility.
found.
So you can see this tile generates engineering output, so it would be a great place to build an engineering facility. So you can see here, it's going to take us another 160 or so days. You can see, you know, it requires upkeep, and you can see what it produces. Alright, so population growth. So, population grows because of inwards perfection, and once we fully fill up our food stockpile, every additional point of food will give the base growth speed a 1% bonus. So that will, so currently we're at 4. So once we hit 1,000, it'll be 1.04 as our base, with inwards perfection adding another 25%. Now, the base requirement needed, or the base amount of months needed, is 51.5. Or the base growth progress is 25, and because we already have 9 existing pops on this planet, it adds another 26.5 to that, for a grand total of 51.5 growth progress required. So we will need 51.5 growth progress for this population to be considered fully grown, and for them to start being productive. Right, so we see these little icons here are the modifiers to the planet. This is our capital world, so the governing ethics are
System
the
survey
ethics.
complete.
So the governing ethics are the ethics any political parties that form here will be more attracted to. So our capital world will more likely have political factions forming that are, oh hey, for example, xenophobic and pacifist. Well, our empire is pacifistic and is a pacifism empire and a xenophobic empire, and we can see now our populations are embracing that. So we should start to see we should see political factions rise up that are either xenophobic or pacifist. Right, this is our ethics attraction up here. You can see what affects it at the bottom there. Currently nothing making us spiritualistic or materialistic. Oh hey, another tradition. Alright, let's finish that one. Let's finish that little bit off, and then once we get all 5, we can pick an ascension perk. You can see time is ticking away. We are in our 4th month of year 5. The game always starts in the year 2200. Let's build all the mining stations we can in that system. You're done surveying. Let's have you survey over there. Oh hey, there's a potentially habitable world here. It is an alpine world. It has 15 tiles on it, as we can see in the little drop-down menu there. Alright, so I've clicked it and we have it up here. We have some new tile blockers, dangerous wildlife, and massive glaciers. Because they are red, as opposed to, say, on our home world, the yellow ones, that means we do not have the technology researched to clear these yet. Whereas the yellow ones, we have the technology to clear them, we just have not cleared them yet. So, our world is filling up, we might as well clear out some of these blockers to make room for more populations to grow and to make room for more buildings. I think we should build a nice mining network here to add some more mineral collection. So our planetary capital, or planetary administration, as we currently have, has a adjacency effect, and that it affects adjacent.
Anomaly found.
Thank you. Just leave that be. And that affects adjacent buildings in a certain way. It'll provide extra mineral, food, or energy output if the building does that. So our farms will produce extra food. Our mining networks that are adjacent to our capital will produce extra minerals. And our power plants that are adjacent to our capital will produce extra energy. You can see what the building produces, energy, and we can see our capital produces energy and unity. So if you're going to colonize a new planet, it's best to put your capital down on an energy tile. Here we have a physics tile, so we're going to build a basic science lab so we can collect that physics research with more efficiency. And we're going to put our growing population on it. You look like you'll be fully grown in 3 months, and this is going to take us, 206 days. Wow, it'll be a while. But as soon as you're fully grown, you'll collect the 1 physics on that
System
tile.
survey complete.
You don't need a building to collect resources on tiles, you just need a fully grown pop. Buildings just allow you to collect more resources. Our system survey is complete. Let's have you go over there. So you can see here, since we've built our outposts, our border has expanded from just around here to all the way around here.
Construction complete.
Construction is complete. We can see these numbers are green.
Research complete.
Oh, hey, research complete. Good stuff. Yeah, population growth speed sounds good. And this little symbol, I'm going to pause the game. We can see here, means that researching this will open up more options for us as far as biology goes. You can see here, this exoskeletons will unlock options for robotics. You hear that lasers will unlock more options for energy weapons. Not every technology will necessarily unlock more options as far as a whole tech tree. Usually it's, well, for the example of, say, the global energy management will unlock us the energy grid, and then there's one other, say, direct upgrade to this, and that's it. It's not a, It is not a tree, it is more of just one thing, and then you have a direct upgrade, whereas, say, lasers will get us started down a tree. Exoskeletons will get us started down a tree. Alright, so one thing we can do is we can hold shift and then we can queue up additional orders. So as soon as we finish surveying this system,
complete.
our ship will automatically head to this system and survey it. Oh, more research complete. Good stuff. So you can see the costs here. This unlocks the auxiliary component afterburners. You can see this is a propulsion technology, and this is a voidcraft technology. So these are expertise areas that our scientists can have, but we got unlucky in that all our scientists have generic, not leadership type specific. So any general, admiral, governor, or research or scientist can have these adaptable or resilient traits. Lifespan, self-explanatory, affects how long the leader will live to be. In this case, 25 years longer. Great stuff. And of course, level comes from experience. So if, say, your maximum level is 7, but your leader has the, say, substance abuser trait, which reduces lifespan by 25 years, they may not reach level 7 before they die. However, it is very likely that these researchers will reach level 5 before they die of old age, as they don't even need resilient or adaptable traits in order to reach level 5 before they die of old age with a normal lifespan. So we're going to move you here. We're going to have you build an outpost. These are anomalies in the system.
System survey complete.
Actually, let's just have you research this anomaly, because I'd like to show that to you. Alright, it's going to take us 60 days to get there. Alright, system survey complete, good stuff.
Research complete.
Research complete, good stuff. Oh, we unlocked the blue laser now. Okay, good stuff. The fusion reactor will give us more options for power generation.
Construction complete.
But that's for ship-based power generation, I should say. Let's unlock... Oh, that looks useful. Faster surveying. Yes, we do want to explore the stars. Alright, so our science ship has made it. Currently investigating. We can go into our situation log, click anomalies, and we can see it progressing in time. Research time is 100 days, and because we are a level over this, it takes less time. There we go. Special project complete, it's going to say. Oh, our science officer's interested in how things go. Give them the... Neat. Nothing. Oh, hey, society research now.
Construction complete.
Yeah, let's have you go back over to surveying. We have a nice habitable planet there. Nice world that's pretty close to our home world. 18 tiles, that's a pretty... Alright, we have a tradition. Research alternatives increased by 1, so now when we finish researching something, oh wow, it's going to take a while. Alright, so we can see these white numbers mean these resources are present in the system, but we are not collecting them. For example, let's build a mining station here. And we'll see a green number 2 pop up, and this 7 will turn into a 5. And that will mean, we are collecting 2, and there's 5 more available to collect. Potentially habitable world, Savannah world. Well, it's probably not that habitable, but we haven't fully surveyed it yet. Again, almost done that mining station, good stuff. So engineering researches, ship components, star bases, ships,
Construction complete.
buildings. Oh hey, yes, see, there we go. A green 2 and a white 5. So we're collecting 2 minerals of the available minerals in there when there's 5 more that are available. Usually like to right click and queue up a whole bunch of orders at once, or queue up all the available orders. Again, I'm going to hit shift. I'm going to hold shift as I do this. That way I can queue up extra orders now. So after it finishes building the research station, it's going to build all the mining stations it can. It can. Did we finish our research? No, we didn't. What did we finish? Survey? Yeah, probably a survey. So, you have unlocked the blue laser now, and now it says these ships can be upgraded. So let's hit the upgrade and watch what happens.
Ships upgraded.
Pause the game again. Yes, we now have a blue laser. Yeah, so as technology upgrades, our ship design, since we set to auto-generate the best designs, we'll update
System
our ship
survey
design as we
complete.
unlock new technologies. So, seeing as how we have a habitable world, let's build a new colony. Oh, right, we can upgrade this. We want a physics lab, though, because this is a physics tile. But we can only build, if we click this little upgrade button, we can only build an engineering facility because that's the only type of science building we have researched. That's a shame. Alright, so let's go to our spaceport. Let's build a colony ship. So that's going to take us 360 days, aka 1 whole year. But that won't take too long. So here we have, our home planet, a little upgrade area here that's showing that there's buildings that can be upgraded. That's this one here we just looked at. Good stuff. We still have a growing population here. Let's assign you to collect that research there, because that will help move our society research along. Society research is, say, government, bureaucracy, military planning, statecraft, politics, and biology, affecting the people itself. And physics is, computing, particle fields, particles, fields, stuff of that nature. Whereas engineering is, things we can build, say, buildings, propulsion systems, ships, star bases, things like that. Alright, so you're done surveying. Oh, yeah, that Savannah world is not looking too nice to live on. Only a 20% habitability. Let's survey this system, and we'll survey this system. So, the very beginning of the game is very much a 4X game. Explore, expand, conquer, exploit, exterminate. In my eyes, the mid-game starts once you have no room to expand without going into somebody else's space, i.e., there's no more unclaimed systems that you can expand into. Everything adjacent to your empire is already owned by somebody else. And that's where it becomes a game of politics or a game of military planning and strategy. The only way to expand is to take it by force or purchase it or trade for it from your neighbors. And that's where things tend to get rather interesting. Alright, so we can see we have some more green numbers here.
Construction complete.
Oh, Spaceport has finished its construction queue. Oh boy, what was the construction? Right, our colony ship. So we see now in our civilian ships list, we have a colony ship. And this is the species aboard it that will be colonizing. Let's go. Oh, right. We need that within our borders. Colonize it. Shoot. Come on, Herb. Alright. We're going to queue up your order to build a starbase. Meantime, we're going to get our colony ship going. Alright, so currently this is going a little slower because my computer's running a little slower because I'm also recording this. Oh, another planet. Oh, an Arctic world. Good stuff. That Arctic world has 14 tiles, this one has 18, so we're going to go for this one first. Ah, there we go. Building the starbase. So this is our colony ship here. We can see they're not very tough. They don't have any weapons. There's a galaxy map and look at our colony ship. There it goes. Very interesting, very neat. So we very much should have our starbase ready, and the system should be in our borders before our colony ship arrives, thankfully. So let's just tell it to enter orbit of this planet instead of go to the star, because we don't want to put that colony down on the surface of the sun, do we? No, no. I mean, praise it, but we must respect it, not desecrate it with our filthy footsteps.
Construction complete.
Ah, good stuff. So this is now within our borders. We can now right-click this again because we have finished our outpost. So again, we can upgrade this to a starport. Basic, very basic type of starbase. That will put this counter up to 2 out of 3 instead of 1 out of 3. And again, we can research new technologies to increase our starbase capacity or our naval capacity or the amount of planets we can have in our core sector. And our fleet size, or our navy size also increases as we have a higher population. So we're going to colonize this planet. And we're going to pick a good place to settle. Oh wow, hey, natural beauty and poor quality minerals. So these are modifiers affecting this planet. So migration attraction means that people will be more likely to migrate from where they're living to this planet here. And we have a pre-sapient species. Interesting, I've actually never seen this before. Cool. So it's usually best to place our colonies on energy tiles because the main administration and or colonial capital produces energy. And, you know, if we place it on minerals, we won't be able to gather these minerals. Well, if we place it on energy, we will also gather that energy. We can potentially rename the colony. Sounds great. And that's going to happen. So it's currently colonizing.
Colonization in progress.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Oh, gain some engineering research on that. So, colony development is a thing that occurs. And that will take a bit of time. This can be changed by research or through various traditions. Oh, hey, we have a political faction now. Fantastic. It's led by Coordinator Numerius Cincius. They call themselves the Internal Strength Foundation. Their members are advocating for closed borders and non-interference in galactic affairs. A disgruntled faction will be a source of trouble, but a happy one will be useful. Great. So, we can see the faction support is... I'm not actually sure anymore. There are 5 supporters in this that belong to this faction. And this is the base happiness of a faction. So any other modifiers to happiness will be based off the faction happiness, right? So these are the things they believe in. They will be unhappy if we join a federation. They are happy if we are not at war for 10 years. They'll be even happier if we're not at war for 25 years. We are currently gaining 0 influence, and we can match this faction. We can embrace that faction. Their support needs to be greater than 20%. Oh dear, piracy. Let's put that aside. So we can embrace a faction that costs us influence. That requires a certain amount of support. And that will make that faction happier for a while. That will change our governing ethics. We can promote a faction. We can promote those policies and values, and or to make those ethics more attractive to our general population, and we can suppress a faction. Both promoting and suppressing factions costs influence. And we need influence to expand and do other things. So, influence is very important in this game. Ah, space pirates. Fascinating. Let's go deal with that, shall we? Oh, shoot, I should have read which system they were based out of. Darn it. Engineering research complete. Fantastic. Let's get going on new armor. So let's unlock tier 2 armor components for our ships. Fantastic. Ah, new
Hostile
political
fleet
faction.
detected.
Internal Development Board. They want financial growth and stability through peaceful means. Pirate fleet from Fell Company has been detected on direct course towards the Kell system. Oh, there's the... Oh, they're already in there. Okay, so they must be from either here, here, or here. Not here. They can't be from here, because otherwise the signed ship would have bugged out. And we would have gotten a memo, oh, hostile fleet present, about our science ship. So they must be from here or here. Okay, so the game's currently paused. We can see here, the military strength of our fleet is 143, and the military strength of that pirate fleet is 192. So we will most likely lose our own fleet. But we have some upgrades we can make, so let's queue those. So there is our fleet.
Ships upgraded.
Fleet is near upgrade. Sorry, okay, that's not a lot of upgrades. We are going to need to go to our fleet manager and change how many ships we want in this fleet. And add designs to this fleet. We currently don't have any other ship designs. If we did, they would appear here, and we could select them, and they would come in here, and we could plus and minus them as we pleased. We can also, change this design for another design, and then, the ship will get the little upgrade icon, and it will change from one design to another when it enters the starbase. So that's one way we can expand our fleet, or we can go in here and we can just, once we have the fleet in orbit, we can just directly click this to queue them up to build, or we can hit the reinforce option. Once we have fleet manager. So once we go in here, we can hit the reinforce button to queue the building of the ships we need to bring us up to the amount we want. So say we want 10 of these. Say we want 15 of these, right? One fleet needs needs to be reinforced with 12 ships. We can only afford to build 7 ships. So if we hit that, it'll queue up the 7 ships to build. Meantime, let's just take that out because that will alter these values. So let's just hit reinforce fleet. And our shipyard will start cranking out more ships. These take 60 days to build. This can be altered by, technologies. Or, say, Empire Edicts and Traditions, I believe. Shipyard build speed increased by 25%, and ship upgrade cost is... Oh, hey. Wow, that was convenient timing. Okay, let's try and get this tree finished off so we can get an Ascension perk going. So where is that pirate fleet? There they are. Oh, they're just passing through. Interesting. So they're going to go over to this system here. Are they? No. No, they're going to go to... Let's turn that. Durasta. Where's that? Oh! They're going to go over here. Let's get our fleet moving. So they seem to be heading straight towards this area here. So I think our... Can we look at the starbase? Details. So our starbase has a missile battery. So once the pirate fleet gets in range of this starbase, this basic outpost, this outpost is gonna start launching missiles here. So between the missiles from our starbase and our fleet, we should be able to overwhelm these pirates.
Spaceport under attack.
Oh, spaceport under
Anomaly
attack.
found.
Yeah, go away. We'll leave that be for now. Yeah. So as you can see here. Alright, so this is fleet combat. This shows the enemy fleet, and this is our forces. So we currently have our starbase. The little blue circle is the shields. I think the green one is armor, and then after that it's down to hull. Things explode once the hull goes down. It doesn't matter how much shields or armor is left. Some weapons will bypass shields. Some weapons will bypass armor. Some weapons can bypass both shielding and armor and attack the hull directly without having to whittle down the first 2 layers. Alright, let's just change this to normal speed because this is always fun to watch. There's a missile going, and it hits. Good stuff. We can see the HP values. So we can see that missiles, for example, details, directly bypass shields. So this is the relative strength of the forces involved, right? So we can see the armor's going away. And we are exposing the hull of the ships, but it's not affecting the shields in any way. Whereas our fleet is going to soon enter the fray. Let's assign a admiral to this before combat begins. Yes, weapon range will be helpful. Because your admirals get experience through combat, obviously. Ah, one of our fleets is in combat. Yep, there they are. Firing missiles right now because I believe those have more range. Comet sighted over our planet. Neat. So this is space combat. Fast forward. Watch it happen a bit faster. So ships, when their hull runs low, they might try to emergency FTL jump back to their home base. For example, this pirate fleet lost 3 of 4. Their guy number 4 must have gotten away. So we see our ships are damaged. Ah, here we go. So shields will regenerate on their own. Armor and hull will not, unless you have some special fancy technologies. So we'll have to hit this button to send them to the nearest starbase for repair.
Research complete.
Repairs do not require a shipyard, but upgrades do require a shipyard. Oh hey, research complete. Oh, that one looks helpful. Let's take that. Their colony is still just under 3 years away from being up and running. So once our colony development is complete, it will look like this. We'll have tiles, we'll have growing populations, we'll be able to put up buildings.
Research complete.
Oh dear, we're running an energy deficit. So our current stockpile of energy credits is going to go down until it hits 0. And once we have 0 and we're losing energy, then we will suffer some problems. Ah, here we go. We can start clearing away tiles when we finish researching this. That will take us 92 months, and this will be ready in 31 months. Well, we're not going to actually need those tiles for a while because we still have populations we still have plenty of other tiles. Ah, interesting. We're purging this population. Neat. Okay. Interesting. Let's pick a research. Right? Research. Unlocks starbase building, off-world trading company, unlocks genetic healthcare. It's a building that produces 2 society and 1 unity, and gives that planet a 10% growth speed increase. Let's get this so that when our planet eventually gets kind of full, we're already ready to go. Production error. This planet is being called. Alright, so there's reassembled ship shelters not ready yet, I suppose. So this fleet is heading back for repairs. We can see its values are going up.
System survey complete.
Ah, excellent. We've surveyed. Oh, wow, that's a lot of minerals. That's a lot of minerals. That's a nice system to have. And the only way to get to it is through our space. So if our borders are closed, that'll be a good thing. Ah, repairs are completed. Build a mining station. In this system, collect the 2 energy. Who gained a level? Oh good, you're leading our research. That's good. Alright, so this is most of Stellaris. I'm going to just stop recording for now and resume when there's more interesting things to show you. Ah, here we go. I have found the pirate base. It is in the Iflor system. So we can see it has a military strength of 74. It has 3 small mass drivers. It has a fair amount of hull points, a little bit of armor, and no shielding at all. So then that means ideally we would want weapons that deal damage to armor and weapons that deal damage to hull. Fantastic. Our ships are perfectly built to counter whatever this station has. Good stuff. Alright, so our construction ship just left the system because I sent the construction ship to build a base, and that's how we discovered, oh, there's hostiles in the system. Civilian ships will automatically flee hostiles, because civilian ships have no means of survival other than escape. Our fleet is currently at 12 out of our desired 15. Our maximum fleet size is 20. Different ships have a different ship type costs. For example, corvettes count as 1. That's in both fleet capacity and naval capacity. Destroyers count as...
complete.
Thank you. Destroyers count as 2, cruisers count as 4, and battleships count as 8. Let's watch this in real time. See, all our ships are firing their lasers and missiles into this station, and it's going down rather quickly. Hey, we did it. We blew it up. Oh, we got some minerals and energy credits out of it. Some of our ships were damaged because of that. Wow. So much damage. 10 points of armor damage. Okay, well, let's send them back for repairs, because if you can have them at full strength, why not? So with the pirate base destroyed, there's no more pirates anymore. So let's click here, and let's click on this icon to bring up our government. So this is our little government overview, governing ethics, our civics. This is when our next election is. We can call an emergency election, but that's going to cost us extra influence. We can reform our government to change our civics and authority type, but that's going to cost us influence. This is the agenda of our current leader. Oligarchies have leader agendas. Democracies have a leader, like, election promise, and when you complete that promise, you gain either unity or influence. I'm not really sure about imperial or dictatorial empires. And these are the specific traits of the ruler. So all rulers have traits. So for example, this ruler gives our empire a 10% increase in food output, and a 10% increase in mineral output. We have our empire's budget. This is, energy credits. We're currently going down by 0.12 per month, because that's the difference here. Oh wow, must be 0.12, 0.125, because here's the economic effects. Getting unity, a bonus unity. No effects on our army costs or ship costs or anything like that. Bit of bonuses to minerals because of our governor, or because of our empire coordinator, but that's from this one right here. The demographics of our empire, and the effects that our populations have. Pop growth speed, good stuff. This is our advisor. Oh, this is how we find... Geez, Lord, I've been looking for this for a long time. I'm really happy about this. Hashtag blessed.
We build bridges. We don't raise them.
Cry havoc, and let slip the dogs of war.
You sound like you chew cigarettes for a living. Neat.
Construction complete.
Oh, hey, good stuff. Oh, so the construction queue was repaired. No, this is the construction queue for a construction ship. Construction ship built the outpost, built mining outpost. Alright. Alrighty, here we are. Our colony has been established.
Research
So
complete.
we can see these modifiers affect life on this planet. Mineral output on this planet is going to be decreased. But everyone's going to be a bit happier, because it's a nice planet. So here we have a growing population. We can see that our growth progress, we don't need a lot of growth progress, because there's only one other existing population. However, the lowered habitability of this planet increases how much growth progress we need. So we're going to want you on food generate output, because build here. Let's build a hydro farm, so that we can get more food, so we can grow our population faster. Oh, physics is ready. Neat. Neat. Alrighty, at long last, we can finish off our tradition tree here. And we have an Ascension perk slot available to us. So, these colored in ones are available. Let's just set this so we can only see them. So these are game changers for our empire. Our Ascension perks will really, really affect how our empire grows and develops. As we can see them here. Yeah, so these are the ones that are available right off the bat. If we go show unavailable, we can see there's some more interesting ones. But they have other requirements. For example, this one we need the gene tailoring technology. This one we need glandular acclimatization technology and the engineered evolution perk already. So some of these, are kind of, like a ladder. As in, you get this one, then you can get the next one, right? This one requires 3 other. Of course, synthetic personalities, right? So flesh is weak and synthetic evolution. These are, going into cybernetics and turning your species into cyborgs, or I usually like to get Mastery of Nature right off the bat, because it allows us to increase the size of our planets. It unlocks a planetary edict. Martial law, decreases unrest on the planet. Unrest causes piracy to occur. Land clearance. We can add another tile to our planet, right? Oh, that wasn't there before, but we have it now. Blank tile, perfect place to put a Unity building. Yeah, so that's you know, a rather in-depth look at Stellaris. I mean, yeah, it's a really fun game. I think you'd really like it. I kind of looked a little bit at Masters of Orion too, because I was telling Chris about this game, and he's like, "Oh yeah, Matt would love this game." And I was like, "Well, let's do a thing so I can show Matt." So I'm making this video so that you don't actually have to come over to my house to look at this. You can just watch this on your own time, stop partway through, pick it up again later. You know, makes life easier. All right, take care. See you sometime soon, I imagine.